Over 4 million podcasts exist. You know how many are actually active? 500,000. And of those, 19% quit before episode 3. Now, 90% of the survivors quit before episode 20, which means if you just show up consistently, you have already beaten 95% of the competition before anyone hears your voice. But here's what nobody tells you. Starting a podcast is the easy part. The real question is, why are you starting one? Because if you're a consultant, a coach, a professional with years of experience in your field, you are sitting on something most podcasters spend years desperately searching for. A niche, a message, an audience that already needs you. You're already a master, you just haven't hit record yet. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to get started, how to grow, and then the part most podcasters never figure out, how to turn your listeners into paying clients. So let's go. You don't need a studio, you need a quiet room and a decision. Now, start with what you have. The microphone on your phone is enough to begin. Seriously, use it. And when you're ready to upgrade, the Samsung Q20 costs about $80 and sounds incredible. Now, professionals use it for years. If you want something sharper, the Shure MV7 Plus at around $300 is what you will see on your major shows worldwide, and it will last your entire podcasting career. But here's the thing, your recording environment matters more than your equipment. A bedroom with carpet and curtains will sound better than an empty room with $1,000 mic. Soft furnishings absorb echo, and if your space still isn't perfect, AI-powered audio tools today will clean it up like magic. So equipment is a detail, momentum is the strategy. So just start. Now, the fastest growing podcasts publish once a week, but the ones that die, they also try to publish once a week. They could not keep up. So pick a format you can actually sustain. The key here is consistency. If you want to publish once a week, stick to it. If all you can do is once a month, stick to it, but make it count and be consistent. Solo is simpler to start. Guests, they add energy but require more coordination. If you go the guest route, use Riverside. It records both sides in broadcast quality, even if someone's internet is struggling. And please do not script your episodes word for word. The lifeblood of a podcast is real conversation, and real conversations are not scripted, they are anchored. So build an outline, give yourself structure without a straight jacket. Now, one more thing while we are here, do not try to sound like your favorite podcaster. That is a trap, and it is an unforgivable one. Your voice, your pace, your specific way of seeing the world, that is the asset. Guard it. Now, consistency plus authenticity, that is your entire growth strategy in 5 words. And quickly, if you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I put out content specifically for consultants and professionals building personal brands that actually bring in clients. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Here's the best kept secret in podcasting right now. It might not be a secret to you. You see, YouTube is the fastest growing podcast platform in the world. If you are only doing audios, you are leaving an enormous amount of discovery on the table. Do both audio and video if you can. Don't wait until you can. Start with audio, then add video when you are ready. Upload your audio to every podcast directory and upload your video to YouTube. More platform means more discovery, and more discovery means compounding reach over time. Editing doesn't need to be painful. Tools like Descript, CapCut let you edit the audio the same way you edit a document. Delete the words on the page and the audio disappears with them. Silence removal, filler words cleanup, a short intro. You can have a polished episode in under an hour. Then take 2 or 3 short clips from every episode and post them everywhere. Of course, the longer your podcast, the more clips you can get from them. These clips are your billboards. They bring people to the full episode, which brings people to you. So, 1 episode published everywhere, cut into clips. That is content machine. Now, I've put together something called the Consultants Podcast Launchpad. It's a free resource in the description below, an episode planning template, a guest outreach message that actually gets replies, and a 5-step funnel map showing exactly how a listener becomes a paying client. So go grab it. The link is right there in the description. Now, starting and growing the podcast, that's half the job. The second half is where most podcasters leave serious money on the table, because there's a difference between a normal podcast and a podcast built to convert high-paying clients. A normal podcast chases downloads, it focuses on volume, it monetizes someday. A podcast built to convert focuses on relationships, on value, and on the right people, not the most people. So let me give you 7 things that separate the two and how to turn your podcast into a client converting machine. Number 1, know exactly who you're talking to. Now, most podcasters talk to everyone. This is why they convert nobody. Build a true audience persona, not a vague profile, but a specific human being with a specific problem you know how to solve. List their pain points, list what keeps them up at night, then build every episode around these exact conversations. When your listener feels like you are reading their mind, they stop being audience members, they start becoming clients. Specificity is not limiting, specificity is the magnet. You are not Joe Rogan. Number 2, give free value with a catch. Give your audience enough to get real results on their own. Frameworks, tools, strategies they can actually use. Then create one resource they can only access by leaving their contact details, a checklist, a template, a guide. Exactly like the consultant's podcast Launchpad I mentioned earlier. That resource is in the description. If you haven't grabbed it yet, do it now. It is free and it will save you weeks of figuring this out alone. This is your lead funnel. Your content builds trust. The free resource converts attention into a contact, and that contact begins the relationship that eventually leads to a paid engagement. Your one-on-one time and your services must be priced high, because the volume of free value you are creating, hence that premium. Number 3, your guests are your pipeline. What if every guest you invited was already a potential client? Stop booking guests because they are interesting or popular, and start booking guests because they are your ideal clients. School owners, if you're an education consultant. Founders, if you're a business strategist. Operators, if you're a systems expert. When you invite someone onto your podcast, you are not asking for a favor, you are offering a platform. This flips the entire dynamic. Almost nobody gets publicly invited to talk about their work. That is a gift, and they feel it. Onboard every guest properly. Have a call before the episode. During the conversation, be genuinely curious. You are not selling, you are connecting. Your audience watches you guide an expert through their own problem. They see your depth, the guest feels your credibility, and after the episode, you follow up, not to pitch, but to continue the relationship. Your podcast is a business development meeting that happens to be recorded. Number 4, present yourself as the obvious next step. Everything you teach should lead somewhere, not manipulatively, but naturally. You explain the problem clearly, you provide a solution they can partially execute, and then there is a gap. The execution, the system, the doing. That requires your level of intention. That gap is your offer. You don't need to close anyone. You just need to make it obvious that if they want the full result, you are the clearest path to it. Number 5, be consistent in your identity, not just your schedule. Your visual identity, your tone, the way you open every episode. These are not aesthetic decisions, they are trust signals. Audience return to what feels familiar. Clients hire what feels credible. Build a show that looks and sounds the same every single time, because that consistency is what makes you feel established even early on. This is actually one of the things we obsess over at Covey. We're a personal brand agency and we work specifically with consultants and professionals who want to build a brand that closes high-paying clients. Podcast visual identity, your cover art, your episode graphics, your color system is one of our core services. We handle audio editing, content frameworks, distribution strategy, and the full system that turns your podcast into a business development tool. If that sounds like what you need, then the link to work with us is in the description. Number 6, follow up with every guest every time. Most hosts record an episode and move on. A follow-up conversation, a short message, a genuine check-in is where the business actually happens. Not every guest becomes a client, but some become partners, some become referral resources, and some will quickly watch you for 6 months and then reach out ready to hire you. The follow-up keeps that door open. Number 7, and this matters more than all the others, never start a podcast just to make money. If revenue is your primary reason, you will quit because the money comes late and the space is crowded. Start because you have a message. Start because you have value. Start because you have a solution. Start because you genuinely enjoy the conversation. Start because you know things that can change someone's situation. The money for you as a personal brand with a niche, talking real solutions, it comes faster than you think. Not from sponsorships, but from the client who listened to 6 episodes and decided you were exactly who they needed. You didn't chase them, the podcast did. Start with purpose. The revenue follows the reputation. You have the experience, you have the expertise, you have every reason to start and almost no real competition if you do this right. The only thing left is the decision. So pick up the microphone, build the system, and let your voice do the business development you have been doing manually for years. 3 things before you go first. Now, the Consultants Podcast Launchpad is in the description. Free. Grab it. Second, if you want this built properly, end to end, visit Covey to build personal brands for consultants that close high-paying clients. Podcast setup, visual identity, audio editing, content frameworks, and everything in between. The link is below. Third, subscribe if you haven't. This channel exists for one reason: to help professionals like you build influence that converts. See you in the next one.